Hi, I'm Arlene McIntyre, Creative Director at Ventura Design, and you're listening to Shut the Front Door, a light-hearted podcast that will bring you through the front door and into the homes of influential and interesting people. Home for me is one of the most important things in my life. My career has fortunately given me the opportunity to work closely with people and to help them create a home they will cherish forever. Today we are joined by a frontliner and someone who's taken the bar and raised it in terms of pushing trusted medical advice out to the general public. Dr. Doireann O'Leary is a GP working in Cork's largest general practice, My Cork GP. As well as working as a GP during the crisis, Dr. Doireann uses her Instagram account with over 155,000 followers as a method to push out sound advice surrounding COVID-19. She is truly an inspiration. And if you are not already following her, I would highly recommend that you do now. Married to Peter, a surgeon, Doireann promotes healthy living and also dabbles in her love of fashion via her page. A regular on News Talk and many other publications across Ireland, it's my great pleasure to now speak to Dr. Doireann O'Leary. So Doireann, how are you coping during this very difficult time? I mean, you're absolutely all over Instagram. You've been massively inspirational to so many people. I'm always listening to you on News Talk, and I'm just really interested in chatting with you today on your views on where we are now and if Ireland is doing a good job, and when do you see this finishing?
So thank you for your kind words, Arlene. Ireland is doing a good job. We've really come together as a society and a population, and communities across Ireland have worked so hard and made so many personal sacrifices for the greater good and for the good of society, and in order to protect our most vulnerable citizens, so those with underlying conditions or over age 70. We had to change how we worked overnight in general practice, and there was maybe 2 or 3 weeks where we had to change everything and we had to learn fast. And we did a lot of teleconferences, and it was kind of day and night updating ourselves, learning about coronavirus, learning what we need to do to stop the spread, learning how to identify it, learning how we, treat it. And there was 2 or 3 weeks where this was, all consuming for me as a GP. Really good to see, and really a testament, to the Irish people who have made the personal sacrifices to make this happen. So things were full on at the start. They were all consuming. I have to admit myself, I was anxious and I was nervous. I was nervous for my patients, for myself, my family, what was going to happen to the hospital system. But thankfully we've done well. And hopefully that success continues. Hopefully we continue this good work and continue to flatten the curve.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm sure that you're glued to the news like everybody else. I mean, when you have time to watch the news and just to see, the nursing home situation is just very saddening.
It's so heartbreaking, Arlene, and my heart it breaks for the nursing home patients who must be frightened. This is their home. This is where they live. This isn't a hospital to them. The nursing home is their home.
Exactly. And of course, they're going into work every day, fighting fires. And then they don't have the correct PPE, which is a massive issue at the moment, isn't it?
It is an issue for nursing home staff and for the healthcare assistants, and the scarcity of PPE is so sad and so frightening, and it's a global issue. The scarcity of PPE, and I know I've heard of some of my friends who are working in acute hospitals as well, where one member of the team, the most senior member, is the person who is given the PPE and everybody else doesn't get it. So I know the government are working very hard.
They really are. It's funny, yesterday on Instagram, I came across where Prada is now developing PPE gear and using all of their seamstresses to start making masks and anything that they can do to help. It's just incredible seeing big brands getting behind this.
It's amazing, like people like I'm seeing a lot of it on Instagram as well. People wondering, should you wear cloth masks or shouldn't you, or do they all need to be hospital grade? But really, in the last few weeks, it's become apparent that they are useful. The cloth masks are useful, and it's really nice to see the fashion houses use their factories, their workers, their platform. They're not, trying to, just sell us more clothes. That they're really also coming together, doing their bit, and making PPE. So that really is it's another great example of people coming together
and creating awareness. And I mean, it's just giving back. I think it's all about giving back at the moment. And definitely that was a really good move for them. So, can I ask you a few questions about yourself? Tell me a little bit about your childhood home.
So I was thinking about this. It was a busy, busy house. There was 6 of us. So my parents, my siblings, and I was the youngest. 2 older brothers and an older sister, and our dog as well. So we grew up in the suburbs of Cork City, and it was a really, really busy household. It was all I just think of, children coming and going, my brothers playing sports, my sister going to piano practice, me going to tennis. We used to walk to school as well. We were just a busy house. My dad was working, my mom was working as teacher. So it was go, go, go. And it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun as kids together in the house.
What was your teenage bedroom like?
My teenage bedroom, actually, I was lucky in that by the time I became a teenager, my older brother had moved out. So then I got the best room in the house after that. So he moved out, and then I moved from the box room, which would have been my room as a child, into my teenage bedroom. So then I painted it hot pink, the like brightest pink you've ever seen, and I had pink curtains. I got a vanity table as well with a mirror. So my mom kind of let me run riot with that and let me just go pink, pink, pink. And I really loved that space. So I was lucky that I got that bigger room when I became a teenager. And lots of photo collages on the wall of friends on nights out, lots of clothes, shoes, photographs, and definitely a lot of pink.
And when did you decide to go into medicine? At what point did you decide that that was the career for you?
I made the decision, it was around when I was about age 15, and it was a time that I realized, I was thinking, what am I good at? What do I like? What do I enjoy in school? And always the answer was science. I just loved the work, studying science, going to science class. I enjoyed it. And I, would talk with my mom or parents, my siblings, about saying, well, if you like science, what do you do? What kind of job do you do if you like science? And my science teacher suggested it to me one day. He said, would you consider doing medicine? And for a lot of the time, I doubted myself. I thought, I don't know, medicine is for, very academic people. I don't know if that's me or not. But as time went on, I started to say, well, look, I'm going to push myself to do this as much as I can because I really do want to do it. So it was kind of around age 15, the seed was sown, and I had started thinking about it and working towards it. And then I worked, I chose all of my subjects based on what you would need to get into medical school, and then started medical school in UCC in 2006.
And you've just gone from strength to strength. When did you realize how important Instagram would be for you and in terms of helping people and reaching people?
It was a slow process. It wasn't an overnight thing, but I kind of started doing it. I started blogging and sharing information online and through Instagram. It was around July 2018. That was when I posted my first blog post. And where it started was that I think Instagram, it's really nice. It's a really nice community, really nice online social platform, that it's positive, and it's a nice space. But with that, then I think came a lot of misinformation. I would see things on Instagram that I would think, oh, look, that's not true. These are false claims. This isn't right. And instead of, taking the time to highlight misinformation or false claims, or just giving out about things that I saw online, I decided, why don't I just put out the facts? So that's kind of how it started. I just wanted to put out the facts there that I knew myself to be true and that I thought might help other people. So that's how it kind of started. I said to myself, okay, don't complain about others putting out information that is untrue. Instead, create a platform for yourself where you can put out the facts. So that's kind of how it started.
Tell me a little bit about your home now and where you're living now with your husband.
So we moved into our home. It's another suburb of Cork City, and it's kind of I don't know if we're going to call it our forever home, because I think it's hard to say anything is forever, but I do love this home. I feel so at home here. We moved in here in 2016, and we looked for a long time before we made the decision. We were looking for maybe about 2 or 3 years, and as soon as I saw it, I said, this is perfect. We have to live here. And Peter was like throwing the eyes to heaven, because you're meant to kind of play hardball. You're meant to say, oh, I don't know, I don't know if this is right, but I said we have to have it. So it's I love it. It's there's a lot of space here, and hopefully space for children maybe someday. We've great neighbours. It's a nice spot, lots of children around, lots of green areas. We're so lucky. I love it here. Don't know if it's our forever home, but could be as well. And I'm really happy here.
And do you like, after a very hard week, how do you relax in the evenings?
I suppose it depends. I do like to go out. We like to go out for dinner on a Friday evening, or even just a night in as well is nice. Watching just TV, catching up with Peter, hearing about his week, what's going on with him. Because the days can be so busy, and there's so much going on that you really do have to kind of sit down and talk to each other about what's going on and what's happening with this, and him telling me about his day. So I like a night out as much as I like a night in. Not a crazy night out on the town or anything, but a nice dinner, a chance to get dressed up, and kind of just chat to Peter about the week gone by.
And do you like traveling? Do you get away much? I know at the moment it's difficult to even think about traveling, but I'm sure you had lovely holidays in store for yourself and Peter this year.
I do like traveling, and it's that's one of the hardest things about this at the moment, isn't it? Because I think we all love to get away, and we can't plan anything at the moment. But I love to travel. We have gone to Italy a lot over the last few years. Just love Italian food, culture, the people. It's amazing. So we've been to Sicily and Amalfi, Sorrento, Capri, Ischia, and we have traveling in Italy, and it's been amazing. And I love it. I love to travel, love to get away, soak up the sun, just get away from it all entirely. It's so good for the soul. So hoping to get away again after all of this has settled down.
Exactly. And tell me just a little bit about your own personal style. How would you describe your own interior design style in the home?
It's minimalistic. I don't like clutter. I know that sometimes can maybe be a bit. I think that people might think, why is there no furniture in this woman's house? But I don't like clutter. I like things to be clean, minimalistic. I don't like a lot of color. I think you can add in color with accents, with flowers, or with a nice ornament or something. But I like things to be calm, serene, white, beige. And I know that seems maybe very boring, but to me that's really calming.
So you like bright and airy, and from what I can see when I'm watching you on Instagram, you have sort of a classic contemporary feel going on in your house, and it is quite calm.
Yes, and I do. I love really bright, love airy. Always, windows open and, the blinds up and yeah, really bright, fresh, the very kind of calm vibes of it. I just like I like a blank wall, you know.
We have three showrooms, and I just see those as like extensions of our homes. When I come home to my own house, I don't need anything. I just like bare walls, and everything's super simple. So I totally get that. After a really busy week, you just want to come somewhere, drop down your bag, and have this sort of calm atmosphere, and where which you can relax in. Are you super duper organized? What is your closet like, if you don't mind me asking?
I wish it was more organized, but I do make an effort to clear it out often. I'm the opposite of a hoarder. I don't like clutter, and I don't keep things for very long. So I'm pretty you know, I guess, strict about not having things in my closet for too long. If I'm not wearing it, I, will give it to a charity shop, or say to a friend, do you need this? Do you want this? So I clear things out pretty regularly. I have a summer wardrobe where I would just put all my summer dresses in there. I need to start taking those out actually now, around now. And then I have the winter wardrobe. So I do like to try to keep things organized, because the more organized you are, then you see what you have. Because if you're not organized, you'll forget what you own, and you won't wear your clothes. And then I have a separate kind of work wardrobe as well, because I think once I wear something to work, then it's just in my head, then that's just almost the fun is taken out of it.
I know.
It has to be that wardrobe that's just for work as well.
I so know. So you kind of break them up into different kind of casual wear, your going out Friday night gear, and then your work gear.
Yes, exactly. And it's taken me a while to get to that, because I spent so many years where everything was kind of all thrown in together, and you really don't wear your clothes when they're like that, when you can't see what you own. So when you can see it and you know what you have, and going through your wardrobe as well, maybe every 2 or 3 months, so you see what you have, you know what you have, and then you'll wear your clothes. So I've started doing that in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, and I've noticed, a big difference in terms of that I'm more likely just to wear the clothes that I have.
Who are your style icons?
It varies so much. Somebody I've loved since I have for years is Olivia Palermo. I think she's amazing. I
Yes.
love her. She's quite feminine, but also quite contemporary, and takes chances, and she's not very safe in her approach to fashion, and I love her style. I also love two people actually that have been on your podcast recently. Love Millie McIntosh's style as well. So feminine and just pretty. And I love Vogue Williams' style as well. She's amazing.
And Vogue and Millie are both so different in their style as well, but definitely, yeah, very stylish women.
Yes, yeah. I think I just like anybody who has fun with clothes actually, and who kind of takes a chance and, plays around with fashion. Because I think that's important for us all, that you're not strict with yourself. You don't have rules. Try things, and if you make a mistake, then, you make a mistake. But clothes should be fun, I think, for the most part. Of course, they have to be functional as well. But, to have a bit of fun with them.
And what are your favorite colors? Because they say often the colors that you like to wear, you can often, like, for example, when I'm meeting some of my clients, I'll often look at the textures they're wearing and the colors they're wearing, and that really gives me a good steer on what colors they'd like to live in.
Yes, well, I guess so. Colors I love to wear. I like to wear blue. I think it kind of just suits me. I love blue. I love to wear pink as well. For years I tried to train myself to like not wear pink. I was like, pink is not cool. You should wear less of it. But I've just given into it now, and I do like to wear pink. And I do actually like little pink accents around the house. Just like a pink rug, or pink flowers. I really do love pink.
It's a really excellent color pop. It goes really well with greigey tones. So you'll often see rooms where there's a lot of blue accents. You'll see like a little bunch of posies in pink, and it's just fab. It's a great accent tone.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, just an accent or a pop of colour. And I'm lucky as well in that Peter doesn't object too much to those little pink pops around the house.
Yeah, we have a lot of couples and they're like, oh gosh, I'd love my room to be really feminine. And we always kind of enter the pink world in the conversation. And then we eventually end up on blush. So blush seems like, yeah, kind of neutral enough.
Yeah.
And so tell me, in when you're seeing yourself in 5, 10 years' time, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself growing within your own practice?
I don't know. It's funny. Whenever Peter and I talk about this, I say I see myself taking a step back and maybe focusing maybe on becoming a mother if we're lucky enough to have children someday. But Peter always says, Doireann, you know that won't happen. You are going to be incapable of ever taking a step back, and that I'll probably be doing, the working mother thing. Over the last few years, I've really learned that you just don't know what is in store for you. So you just got to roll with it and, make sure you're happy along the way and, minding yourself, your priorities, your family, and whatever else, comes along with that, just roll with it.
You've had a lot of struggles in your own personal life, health-wise, haven't you, Doireann?
Yes, it was around this time last year, actually. It was on May the 1st last year. I was diagnosed with stage 1 cervical cancer. And really, Arlene, it was really the bleakest, grimmest, most awful time in my life. But I was lucky in that it was caught early, and I was cured. I was cured with surgery, and now I'm cancer free. I'm obviously still in follow up, but it was a life changing experience, and something that has really changed my outlook on life, and it's really given Peter and I a huge insight into what it's like being a patient, or being a relative of somebody with cancer. So it's changed really how we work as doctors, and I think hopefully for the better, that you really understand what it's like for a family going through an illness or a cancer diagnosis. So it was a tough time, and a time I barely even want to think about. It was so bleak.
My
But
goodness. And I'm sure it's given you an even deeper, greater empathy for your patients, even more than ever before, as you said before earlier. It just deepens everything.
exactly, and hopefully that makes me a better doctor, a better GP, that I can understand exactly what it is. And I find as well that probably one of the main things is that I'm less frightened to go there and talk about cancer with patients. Before, I'd be so, I'd be maybe stepping around it, not wanting to frighten the patient. Whereas now I have an ease with talking about cancer with patients because I know what it is to go through it. So I think that's something that I've learned from it as well, that I can really have very frank discussions with patients about cancer now.
Yes, I really admire you. You're so strong, Doireann. And I personally, I've never experienced cancer, thank God personally, but I have been very close to people who have experienced it, and it's not an easy process. It's really difficult, and it can either make you or break you. And I think in your case, it's enriched you, if anything.
That's a really good word. It's enriched my life, definitely, and given me a new perspective on life, and just given me a lot of clarity about what's important, what is important in life and what isn't. And I think a lot of people say to me, oh, you're very strong, but all of us, we all have it in us, because we all as human beings have a survival instinct. So a lot of people say, oh, I don't know how I would handle that if that was me, or I don't know if I'd be as strong as you. But everybody has it, Arlene. Everybody has an instinct to want to survive. So we're all a lot stronger than we think we are.
That's hopefully true. And just on this very subject, are you a spiritual person?
It's funny, I'm not, but I am open to that changing. If I find spirituality someday, I'll accept it and I'll embrace it. And I really admire people who are spiritual and who find their spirituality to be, something that enriches their life or something that they turn to. And I think that that's a really positive part of somebody's life. And there are times that I've thought about it, and at the moment I'm not. But maybe someday I will be, because I do recognize that it is an important part of somebody's life. But I even throughout the cancer diagnosis and the treatment and the rest of it, I didn't become spiritual, which is, I thought maybe that might change, but it didn't. So to answer the question, I'm not, but I think that it is a really nice thing for somebody to have in their life. It's a positive thing, and maybe someday I'll become more spiritual. And if there's some sort of a calling for me to become more spiritual, I will definitely go with it.
Okay, good answer. And do you have any bad habits you'd like to share with us?
Oh yeah, okay, bad habits. I do. I drink too much coffee. I wish I didn't drink as much coffee as I do. I'm maybe a little bit too maybe a bit too regimented, strict on things sometimes.
And do you have any pets at home?
So we have 2 dogs, but currently they're with my parents-in-law, who are quarantining or self-isolating in Kerry by the beach. So the dogs are having the time of their lives, running wild on the beach.
They are having fun. Oh my God, that's so great for them. Wonderful company for them.
It's the dogs are so lucky, and I think my parents-in-law are enjoying it for the most part as well. So yeah, no, the dogs really are having the best time, and getting to kind of get out and run, and they're being spoiled.
And Doireann, do you mind if I ask you, is there any words of hope you'd like to share with our listeners on the future of COVID-19?
We've done well in Ireland, and even if for listeners in different countries, it's hard to stay positive in a difficult situation. And if you're in a situation where you have had coronavirus yourself, or you've lost a loved one because of it, those are really difficult things. And I think it's not fair to ask people to be positive, but I would ask people to be optimistic for the future, and optimistic that we will get through this however long it takes. I know, being in lockdown or isolation, none of us are really enjoying it. Of course, we all want to get back to our normal life and meet friends and go out and just see people again, see our older relatives, see our friends, go on holidays. But we all need to just stay as optimistic as we can that we will get back to normality soon someday, and those good times will come around again, and hopefully by this time next year. And I'm not saying it's going to take a year to get out of it, but that's something that when I'm in a bad space, I always think to myself, okay, well, where am I going to be this time next year? And surely it's going to be a better place. So I think by this time next year, this will be a distant memory, and things will hopefully get back to normal soon, and we'll have our holidays and our sporting events and see our loved ones again soon. So we need to stay optimistic for the future.
We do. I'm going to ask you a few quick fire questions, which is a different one to this one. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Great. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Text or talk?
Text.
Dusk or dawn?
Dawn.
Taxi or walk?
Walk.
Running or walking?
Running.
High street or couture?
High street.
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Left side of the bed or the right side of the bed?
Right side.
Bra or knickers?
Bra.
Kanye or Trump?
Oh, Kanye.
And this is the last one. Mask or no mask?
Mask.
Thank you. And thank you so much for all that you're doing. You know, you're one of the heroes on the front line, and I just wanted to thank you.
Oh, I have to say though, like we're not, me anyway, I'm definitely not a hero, just doing my job, and it's my privilege and an honor to do it. I love my job, love helping people as much as I can, and really it's just my job, and I'm very privileged to get to do it.
Well, take care of yourself. Stay safe.
Thank you, Arlene.
Thank you.